Hello, friends, and welcome to today's live stream. And this is a midweek. I don't do midweek live streams, you know that. But here I am. We can call it Cichlids and Coffee if you like. Kind of a special live stream because I have a buddy that drove all the way from Oak Ridge, Tennessee, and to visit. And he's an old friend of mine who has been with me since the very beginning, since, well, when I had under, I don't know, I guess maybe just a few hundred subs. And we formed a relationship. He became a moderator on the Facebook page, Ben O''Cichlid. And now he's a moderator on the YouTube live streams, and just a good buddy of mine. And that's Dennis Ruedel. So Dennis, welcome to today's live stream, buddy.
Well, thanks, Ben. Really nice to get together with you, and for the first time in person. I'm used to seeing you on camera. Also used to seeing the live streams on Saturday morning. But thank you, everybody, for coming out and joining us on a Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah. We're going to talk about a lot of subjects, including large tanks. We have to our right here a 210-gallon that I've been in the middle of trying to put together, and the shopping list alone, it would make your head spin. Substrate and plumbing, and I had to buy valves and plumbing elbows, and I had to get gate valves, and add to that heaters and filtration. Fortunately, I have an FX6. I'm DIYing a sump. I have to make a baffle. They cut the glass wrong, so I got to take the glass for the baffles back to Lowe's because they got the measurements wrong. I gave them the right measurement, but they cut it a little bit wrong. I should have measured it in the store before coming back. But anyway, it's a heck of a project setting up a very large tank and getting it ready to transfer the cichlids behind me into that tank. And so I'm very fortunate to have Dennis because I call him Denny, because he was running a 210-gallon tank for quite some time. And let's go ahead and officially start. Let's go ahead and officially start this. Start the live stream with the usual dropping logo. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to follow us on Facebook, where Dennis is a moderator, and also follow on Instagram at ben.o.cichlid. And don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell, and hit that up button. Stop covering Dennis's face there. And if you'd like to support the channel, you can by going to the Amazon store, amazon.com/shop/Ben Ochart, and use that to get to Amazon, and it helps support the channel. Also, I offer things on Teespring, like coffee cups and teas like that, t-shirts and hoodies. All that helps support the channel. And a big shout out to the channel sponsor, the Cichlid Shack in Tempe, Arizona. And if you use Shack Attack 10 on orders over $100, you do get a 10% discount at the Shack. Almost all the fish that you see behind you are from the Shack. And like James Largo likes to say at the Shack, once you go Shack, you never go back. So, all right. So if I was starting a well, which I am, starting a 200-gallon plus tank, what would be the tip? I mean, help me out here, Denny. What would you suggest to somebody out there who's about to get into their first large 200-gallon plus size tank? What would be the tip you would give them, having had a large tank like that yourself?
Well, my biggest fear was setting up the sump. And I think you have to get the appropriate size sump, plumb it correctly. Otherwise, it could end up being a disaster. That would probably be my biggest tip. Other than that, the fish and all that is really pretty simple. You get what you like, and most of the predator haps that he's interested in getting, I had myself up till about a year ago. Had to move and just couldn't move that big tank and all that, so I ended up selling it off. I really miss them.
What was the of those big fish that you had? Was there one fish in particular, or a couple of them that really that you miss the most, that stand out in your mind as those were my favorites?
Well, the dolphin and the Lichnocomus cuticeps, which is the gar, those were two of my favorites. They were really big.
How big did that gar get?
Oh, he was probably a little over 10 inches.
That's a big gar.
Most of the fish that I had were between 9 and 14 inches, I think.
Holy moly! Which was the 14?
The trout.
The trout got to about 14 inches.
Yeah.
And these fish were sold off when you moved?
Yeah, I had to sell them off, and it wasn't hard. People came out right away and wanted them. Tank was easy to sell too. Tank actually went to a guy that was converting it into a saltwater tank. It already was plumbed for a sump.
Nice.
And that's what I wanted to do. So
now that dolphin you had, I think I remember that dolphin. Wasn't he the boss for a while?
yeah, he was, and then the Mara Rocks took over. I also got from James Largo. I'm at the Cichlid shack. He grew really fast, and I didn't know him to know. I didn't think those fish were that aggressive. He was aggressive. Took over the big boss spot.
Now is the Mara Rocks that like, is it like a Eureka Red? Is it part of that family? Jacob Fringy or that Jacob Fringy, is he part of that family of fish like the lemon Jake? Is he part of like the Jake family?
No, he's actually a hap, and I forget the scientific name for him. I just remember him as the Mara Rocks.
It's a beautiful fish though. Does it have a white blaze?
No, it's gold.
A golden blaze?
Yeah, golden blaze all the way, the tip of his nose up to his dorsal.
Wow. So he knocked the dolphin off as the boss.
Oh yeah.
How big was the dolphin?
Dolphin was 11, 12 inches. Had a
Huge dolphin.
big hump on his head, nuchal hump on his head. They fought a lot, but then he finally won.
If they go to your channel, the Denny's Aquatics,
Yeah,
do you have videos up there of the older tanks?
I have videos of them, but I'm not really proud of them, to be honest with you. Just I thought about doing more with YouTube, but just don't have the personality, all the ideas that it takes to come up with topics every week. I just did about a dozen videos, and
If you want to check out some of the fish that he's talking about, go to Denny's Aquatics, and you can see the large dolphin, the Mara Rocks, the enormous trout that he used to have. These fish were in a 210 gallon, and if I understand it correctly, you had a sump filter and 2 FX6s.
yes, I did. The FX6s I had left over from other tanks. Instead of letting them sit in the corner, I decided to put them on 210 since I had pretty heavily stocked hap tank. They were so big.
Did you notice a big difference after you added the FX6s?
Yes, I did. I really did.
What was
Water
that?
clarity. Water clarity was better. I can't say that my water parameters were really any better, but I noticed a big difference in clarity.
Okay, so those filters were helping to polish the water.
Oh yeah.
And what type of sump were you using on that aquarium?
It's called Precision Marine. It's actually made for saltwater, but I used it for freshwater. I had a 1500 gallon per hour Cichlid pump in there, and I had two. Actually, I had two Cichlid pumps in there, and I had two Sump socks filter, for your mechanical filtration as the water returned back to the sump.
Nice. And the socks allow you just to go ahead and rinse the socks out once every few weeks, or
Well,
I'm gonna be using socks in my DIY. Is why I'm asking. I'm sort of I'm picking your brain as we go here for my own project.
yeah. Well, some people probably are going to disagree with what I did, but what I would do with them is I would actually put them in a wash machine, but I would first do like a rinse cycle in the machine, get any soap that was in there out. Then I would put them in the wash machine, a quarter cup of bleach, and just run them through the wash machine.
Well, bleach is of course after 24 hours is pretty inert, I think. And then would you soak them in like the way they do the Pyrogen recharging? Would you soak it in treated or conditioned water, or you
Yeah.
just give it a water rinse and put it
Yeah,
back?
I put them in a bucket of treated water and let them get any of that chlorine off of Clorox that I was using.
Okay. Made them pretty harmless at that point. And so the Shisei pumps and two FX6s on a 210 gallon aquarium. And my configuration is going to be a 29 gallon DIY sump with a Shisei 2,500 gallon per hour pump. I may have to switch over to a Higer with adjustable flow if that is too much, that overwhelms the 29 gallon. I also have three very large sponges standing up, one from Swiss Tropicals and a couple of them from Bulk Reef Supply, which are they're very stiff, so they just stand up in the sump, and a couple 14-inch sump socks. You can see them over there.
Mm-hmm.
That's how long the socks are.
Yeah, what are they, 4-inch?
Those are
4-inch
4 inch across and 14 inches deep.
Deep, yeah.
And so the plumbing is going to dump into the socks and then move through the filter media sponges and
Through the
then go back
chambers.
up. And what I'm going to be doing, of course, for those of you who follow the channel, I'm going to be using a very deep substrate as the primary home for beneficial bacteria, and leave it alone. I'm going to have a very strong power head that's going to keep detritus suspended, and that's going to be moving waste into moving the waste into the both the gyre, the overflow box, which is drilled into the tank, as well as the fluval intakes. The fluval intake will have a sponge pre-filter over it, so that'll help me to go longer between servicing, because it's a hard, as you know, Denny, it's a hard it's a big can. It's a heavy can to move around. I know for a while there, you had some back issues. Moving a big heavy Fluval FX6 can be a pain. So.
Yeah, it was, but I still have the back issues. They're actually even worse now. I just I lifted them, and I had a utility sink down in the basement where I had the tank, and I would do one, like every 6 to 8 weeks, and then I would do another one a couple weeks later. And as far as the sump, that's really easy to take care of. Wash the socks. And I actually got that idea from some of the saltwater guys. That's how they clean.
So would you say the sump is one of the easier overall filtration methods?
Oh yeah, definitely. Most efficient. It's got. I know you built something that made it really quiet. Mine had a little bit of a swishing noise. The water returned to the overflow down into the sump. Actually, I found it to be very relaxing. Why? I just did.
I've heard that from fish keepers that you're talking about that Durso. I created a Durso plumbing system that would quiet down the water cascading down the overflow box. And but I've had various fish keepers tell me the same thing. But no, I like the sound. I like the sound. It's like a brook in my bed, brook in my bedroom. And but mine for some reason it had that long box in the corner, that 150, and man, that water would come just crashing down. So I ended up putting a Durso in there, and the Durso did two things. One is it quieted down. It also raised the water level. That meant less water going to the sump in the event of a pump failure. And I think you have a call coming in. Okay. So I'm not even sure if my phone is off. So at any rate, the Durso did two things. It kept water from going into in the sump. What people worry about with sumps is overflow and flooding. And if you dial it in correctly, keep the right amount of water in the sump and tank, in the event of a power outage, a pump failure, the water should not overflow the sump. Water should probably get maybe 2/3 of the way up the sump, maybe within an inch or two of the top. But then at that point, the water level has dropped below the intake in the tank, and so you shouldn't have a problem. And it was actually Denny who helped me set up the 150, because he told me that you filled the tank until the sump was at the right level. I was kind of filling them both and then firing up the pump, and then everything would overflow.
Yeah, I know you had a big mess.
Yeah, I think I ended up with a tremendous amount of hardwood damage. But if you do it right from the get-go, don't guess, watch a lot of videos, talk to buddies like I did, and then they get that right amount of water in there, it almost becomes impossible, unless the tank bursts or there's a crack or a leak in your sump. It almost becomes impossible for the sump to leak. But anything can leak. A hang-on back, it can leak. It can have a crack or a separation between the motor and the body. Of course, canisters are notorious for O-rings failing, things of that nature.
Right.
So anything can leak. So don't let the worry of a leak prevent you from exploring the idea of a sump. Anything above 70 gallons, certainly over 100, is a good candidate for a sump. And even if you're not drilled, you can use overflow boxes. So let's take a look at the chat and see what if folks have any questions for us. I'm going to go over to the chat, and if you have any questions, go ahead and ask us now.
I'll be happy to help out with that.
And yeah, for sure. See,
I don't have my glasses on.
Go into here. And we kind of just jumped right into it. I didn't have a chance to welcome. Let's see, D Davis. Hello, D Davis, to you. Bren B. And D Davis, if you're still on the live stream, send me your mailing address if you'd like some channel stickers. Show them to you. They're right here. These things. These are the channel stickers. I don't know if you can see them. But I'll send you some channel stickers. And since you're first on the chat, send your mailing address to ben.o.cichlid@gmail.com. Donald Fish Vibes is here. And hello, Donald. Patrick Klima. Hi, Patrick Klima. Good afternoon to you, my friend. And looks like we had quite a conversation here with D. Davis. And hey, Zen Ginger. Haven't seen Zen Ginger for a while. Glad you're here, Zen Ginger. And Chris Dead. Why convicts? I'm asking about convicts. And yes, they are rabbits. If you buy a pair of convicts, you'll have 100 of them pretty soon. Paul's here. Hi, Paul. James Manning. And let's see, Flying Fish. And I'm zipping through here. Any questions? Go ahead and type them in now because I'm going to get to the end of the chat here in a second. It looks like Llewellyn Nadeau. Been following your channel. You helped me a lot with doing water changes on my second Cichlid tank. That's great to hear. I appreciate that. And I'm glad that you found the channel helpful. The General PZ, could I do a pair of jacks and one convict, one Salvini in a 75? Comments on that?
Salvini and what?
Jack Dempsey. Could I do a pair of jacks? So, but if that
breeding pair.
Yeah, if that's a breeding pair, they're going to get kind of ornery, right? If
they get
breed.
pretty rough. Kind of difficult putting anything else in there.
Yeah, if they really pair up and breed, Salvini can be pretty
They get aggressive
too. Yeah,
but when you got breeding fish, not going to be able to stay. Not going to be able. Jack Dempsey's. I used to keep them myself, but I didn't know. I used to keep a lot of South Americans. Cichlids.
So I think initially the answer is that pair is what's throwing this off, because if they start breeding, you're going to end up with a problem. So you may want to consider not going with a pair. And here. And checking the chat here. Hang in there with me. Zen Ginger, by the way, I have made you a moderator. Thank you, Zen, for offering that. Zen Ginger is an experienced moderator. I see her on other live streams when I'm trolling around, when I'm lurking. So, Zen, if you're still there, yes, I'd love for you to moderate. And Moggs20 from South Wales, the UK. Wow, we've got them from all over.
Nighttime.
Yeah, Michael Machos is asking about the killer. The killer is still in the 29-gallon behind me, and what we're going to do with that fish, the plan on that fish is to introduce him into the 210 when all of the cichlids are put in. When both of the tanks behind me are emptied out and put into the 210, then we're going to try the Eureka Red. And hopefully with that much real estate and that much of a heavily stocked tank, the aggression will get so spread out that he's not going to be able to single out and kill the way he was doing in a 55. So I'm hoping. Your lips to the ears of God.
I don't think so.
So what was your experience with aggression and cichlids, Denny? Did you have any fish that you had to rehome or give back because it was just too much?
No, I never had that problem. Especially with the Africans, they would develop a pecking order and they kind of fight for where they stand in the tank. And there was a pecking order, and all kind of knew their place in the tank. And I didn't have really any aggression issues other than when one fish came into another fish's territory, get chased out. I had all males, by the way.
Wow. So, when I introduced by mistake a female into one of the 55s, that redfin borlea, I think that contributed to some of the craziness I had initially. Cost me a few fish. And let's see here. By the way, did you folks mind that special intro that we did in the beginning of the live stream? This one?
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, you haven't? All right, I'll show them.
I got to compliment Ben on his fish here. When I seen him in person here, I just actually couldn't believe it. How pristine his tanks are. How beautiful.
Thank you, Denny.
They're absolutely beautiful.
Thank you so much. The Starry Night is right, probably inside the cave. He likes to hang out inside the cave. He'll be out in a minute. He's huge. He's a beast. As far as Starry Nights go. All right. So let's go back to any questions that anyone might have. So you never really had to get rid of any fish because it was too violent. And then you mentioned you started with South Americans.
Mm-hmm.
And what was your favorite South American?
Definitely the red devil.
Red Devil. And why was that?
Almost kind of like Oscars. They have a personality and they interact with you, and they are aggressive, but they become the tank boss rather quickly. And once they establish that, the other fish don't mess with him. He doesn't mess with them either. Chase him out of his area. That was about the extent of it. He would dig a pit in the gravel. He would hang out in the pit that he dug, and anytime one came close to him, he was always the first to get to the food too. I don't even remember what I was feeding back then.
Well, the Red Devil was kind of like your water puppy.
Yeah,
basically. Would he interact with you a lot?
Oh yeah,
Like
I set up a 90-gallon just recently, and I got a 75. I'm waiting to set up. And I thought about possibly getting one Red Devil in there by itself, but I don't know if I want to do that. I'm too much into the Tanganyikans. Really like them a lot. I think I'm going to probably stick with the Tanganyikan.
So your emphasis now is the Tanganyikan, and when you say Tanganyikan, for those not that familiar, are these Shelleys?
No, I had Shelleys before I moved, but I have a lot of Neolamprologus, some Lamprologus, some Juliachromis, of various strains of them.
This is a smaller cichlid.
They can get up to 5 to 6 inches.
And they're from Lake Tanganyika as opposed to the Malawi fish that we have here behind me. And why those fish?
Well, it was just kind of, they were so unique, and they call the Tanganyikans kind of the personality fish. And they all have their little unique personality. I found that the aggression with them, usually with each other, their own kind, have probably 6 to 8 of each different kind of Tanganyikan I have in the tank. They only bother themselves. It's the other. I have, for example, I have some Neolamprologus lelupi, the orange. They only chase each other around. Juliachromis, they chase each other around. Don't go after the other fish.
It's a bit more peaceful tank.
It's peaceful. It's fun to watch because they're real fast-moving fish. When they want food or something, they move really quickly to get it. They want to go into a cave, they move quickly to get it. I do have some lelupi that are getting ready to breed. The female's digging out the pit under a cave. Under a rock. She's digging a cave. There's a male hanging out right in front of her, guarding that spot, but they haven't spawned yet.
That'll be interesting. Are they mouth brooders?
No.
Okay, so they lay eggs in. Okay.
Substrate.
And is there one type of tank that you have on your bucket list that you always wanted to set up, but you never got around to it, or maybe in the back of your mind there's still a hope that you'll have a tank like that someday?
Well, not too long from now, I'm probably going to have either a 265 or a 300. I have to wait a little bit longer before I can put together the funds to get it. I have a wall and everything ready for it. Got a 12 by 12 fish room. It's off the garage, but our garage is heated and air conditioned.
Perfect.
It was called a workroom. called it when he listed the house. Perfect for, got a lot of outlets in there. It's perfect.
So you're not done. You're not done with big tanks.
No. Probably with the big tank, I'll probably do the haps here. Pretty partial to haps.
You'll do HEPs. And okay, you've got, let's say somebody says, all right, your first batch of HAPs, you can get 6 to put in initially. What 6 HAPs would you get initially?
Well, that's kind of a tricky question, Ben, because
I know. I'm not sure I could answer it either.
I usually, when I buy haps or when I buy Malawi fish, I buy guaranteed males.
Mm-hmm.
And by what I mean by guaranteed, they've already grown to 5 or 6 inches. They've colored up their males already. And I get a lot of them from James Largo. He guarantees them to be a male. He lists them being male. I've never had a problem with them.
So is there a cichlid that you would really hope that he would have in stock to get to you for your first round of fish?
The gar.
A gar.
Gar would be good.
Okay.
And a trout.
Gotta check out the gar behind you before you leave.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got these massive lips. Like I'm not sure what's the name of that tribe in Africa that puts the discs in their lips. You know what I'm talking about? I'm not sure what the name of that tribe is, but he looks like one of those tribal folks from. Anyway, amazing fish. And it looks like Gurvinder GP has joined us, and thank you, GP. And Zen Ginger has joined us as a moderator. He had a field appointment, like they talk about in the service. She was moved up to lieutenant immediately. Thank you, Zen, for your help, Zen Ginger, and GP. Thank you as well. And normally Denny would be in there moderating, but of course he's sitting next to me. So somebody asked what our favorite fish is. I think we got red devil. Red devil for Dennis was his favorite South American. Do you have a favorite Malawi?
I have to go with the trout.
The trout. Torpedo. Like a shape. They're amazing fish, actually. They get huge.
Yeah, huge. Mine got up to 14 inches. I measured them. I took them out. Yeah.
Beautiful fish. The blue and green and shape and the big tail they get.
Right.
Amazing. There's a trout behind us. For me, it would be very hard to, if you watch my channel, of course, you know I love the Autopharynx tetrastigma. The colors on that fish, the translucent body, that we get different colors from different angles. Certainly the Paratilapia, the Polini, right, the Starry Night. That's becoming, the fact that his stars, the dots on his body can go blue and white is just amazing to me. And a trout. You can't beat a trout. You can't beat a gar when they're colored up.
Gar would beat up there. A lot of it just depends on what's available at the time.
Yeah.
I look and see. I check James's website. I also like Dave's Rare Fish.
Dave's a good guy.
Yeah.
I met him.
The nice thing I like about Dave is when you place an order, you actually speak to him directly. He'll tell you about the fish, what they eat, how big they are, if it's a male or female, although it's usually listed on his price list what it is. But those are the 2 places I buy from.
Good, all legit.
Yeah,
All legit.
definitely.
Sharpies, models, and aquatics. Hello, my friend. Says that the crebensis are the best African cichlid. I can't even comment on that, not being familiar or having kept crebensis. Do you care to jump into that?
I never kept them either, Ben. I don't know much about them.
So we're going to take your word for it. Sharpies, models, and aquatics. Crebensis. I'll look into it. I know that Steenfot, Bob Steenfot, is that his name? He is big on crebensis, if I remember correctly.
I don't think there are rift lakes.
They're small. They're a smaller fish, but they're very colorful. But as I mentioned in a prior in a prior live stream, the older you get, the weaker your eyes get, and the bigger the fish you need.
Well, my eyes are pretty weak.
Yeah, so
I know.
anything under about 2 inches is like you're just not going to see it. I'd like to set up a planted tank someday, where the plants and the substrate and the cleanup crew are doing a lot of the work. Have you ever had an interest in planted tanks?
I've tried it and I failed. Actually, what I failed at is I think I over fertilized it. I got so much algae, plants just died.
So
I just got so frustrated with it. And plus, they really didn't go along with the type of fish I like to keep. So, give up on it. I know I can learn. I know I can do it. But I like, when it comes to Tanganyikans, there's all different types of them. I like the rock dwellers. I like to build big rockscapes for them, and they'll build caves from there and find their little place to go, the rocks.
How is that for maintenance? Find that you have to break up the rocks and clean under them on a regular basis, or can you go a long period and just leave them alone?
Ben, you wouldn't like me for my answer, but I really don't move them around. I just vacuum around them, and you pick everything up and clean under them. But I have so many rocks.
It's impractical, huh?
Yeah, I mean, right now I probably got about 60 to 70 pounds of rocks waiting to go into the 90-gallon I just set up 2 days ago. And I'm experiencing a bacterial bloom. I don't know why. There was no fish in the tank. It just got cloudy, and I thought it was the sand that was making it cloudy, but it's not getting any better. Seems to be a bacterial bloom. Checked ammonia and everything else, and it's all normal. So, put 18 fish in there yesterday. So far, they're doing good. They're eating and everything.
Yeah.
So the tank can't hardly see them, but
the tank's healthy. Yeah, it'll clear up eventually.
yeah, that's what I'm told.
It's probably the toughest part of setting up a new tank is that initial bloom and the we're so anxious to see everything nice and crystal clear, but it will occur eventually. And GP, one of our moderators, is saying that Dr. Novak has a recent video on setting up under gravel filters, and very, very good for a planted tank. Makes total sense because it pulls the nutrients down into the gravel where the plants can consume them. Also, what you said, Danny, about the algae. The algae, of course, will outcompete your plants for the nutrients.
Right, I knew that's what happened.
So it's a kind of a tough one. Anyway, all right. Any questions for us? Let's go ahead and field some questions. No Posh Media, Nitrate, let me see, Gurvinder. I see some conversations going on. Let's see if there's any questions. Have I missed any super chats? Have anybody super chatted? Super chats, by the way, are just a way for you to support the channel if you'd like to. Throw a little bit into the pot. Help with my 210 shopping list. So, any questions? Let me see. Is there any new driftwood in the tank that has the bacteria bloom? I had to take my driftwood out. This is Zen Ginger. I had to take my driftwood out of one tank because it stayed milky for over a month. It cleared up 2 days later. Well, that's interesting. That's an interesting comment. Do you have live wood in there?
No, I don't ever use live wood. Plus, I was keeping South Americans. The only thing I have in there is universal rock, the fake rocks, but they look real. Put them in there. I did wash them before I put them in there. And tank was milky from day one. Hasn't cleared up.
Well, you're putting some ChemiPure. I saw you ordering it at the ben.com/shop/Ben Ochart or the Amazon.com/shop.
I didn't order the ChemiPure. I ordered the Sechem,
The Sechem.
the Matrix
Mat-
carbon.
Okay, so we're gonna try
And
Matrix
then
Carbon.
I ordered some bags for media bags. Thing I like about Secom's media bags is they zip.
That's easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got. You do still need some fine mesh media bags? You're gonna
No,
be okay.
I'm good on that
All right.
right now. I just ordered them. I'm a Prime member, so I should have them in a day or two.
Somebody wants to know what fish, Kiran Laurent. Am I pronouncing it right? Kiran Laurent wants to know what would you put in with. I think it said it's moving around a little bit here, but I think he said 100 rummy nose. 100 rummy nose. You care to comment on 100? What you put in with 100 rummy? I'd put a catfish. I'd put a 5 or 6 Cory cats in there probably just to kind of clean up. But any comments on what you put in with 100 rummy nose, which probably looks amazing.
It's a schooling fish.
Beautiful, probably.
Probably something that dwells on the bottom of the tank, but I don't know how to comment which fish because I've been a cichlid person my whole life. And my whole career of being a hobbyist. I know they're a schooling fish, but I don't know. I'm sure somebody, Jack, could probably chime in and add to the conversation.
There's a recent article from the Aquarium Co-op on loaches, and
That's
your
something to look after.
coolie loaches, your different types of loaches. There's some beautiful loaches on this article. I would think of some loaches with all those rummy nose on top and maybe some coolies on the bottom.
Right.
It'd be kind of pretty, and you'd have somebody helping to clean up some of the stuff. Even though probably not too much food gets to the bottom with 100 rummy nose in there. GP says boiling driftwood works too. I just put the driftwood I have in this tank here was left in water for 3 weeks and was still releasing tannins. And it finally started to get thinned out, and I put Virgin, which became very dark very quickly, in the hang-on back filters. But I never had a tannin problem in the tank. But it soaked for 3 weeks. That's the Zoomed wood that I had put in there. Mopani, it's called. Zoomed Mopani. I was able to pick it up at the Franklin pet store for $10 a piece for these big pieces of Mopani, beautiful Mopani wood, $10 a piece. So I wouldn't put that into a cichlid tank because, of course, you have some the tannins, of course, can contribute to reducing pH, which I don't want. You want hard water. So Sharpie models and aquatics, I'd go for a couple bristlenose, some electric blue Acara. That'd be a nice offset. That a Bircher, isn't it? Wouldn't a Bircher eat? Beischer. Wouldn't a Beischer eat some of those rummy nose? And it says here with replace rummy nose. Oh, okay. It's a joke. You can replace the rummy nose 2 weeks later.
I was gonna say,
Oh man,
didn't sound right, but
no, that's a Fishkeeper Dark Humor from Sharpie's Models and Aquatics. Okay, let's see here. 2 female red empress, 1 male in a 50-gallon, and I wanted to know if they will breed. I have 2 female red empress and 1 male in a 50-gallon. Wanted to know if they would breed. No reason why they shouldn't, right? Yeah. If your water,
they're harem breeders, so
yeah,
they'd breed both females. He would breed both females
yeah.
as long as they're mature enough to do it.
There you go. So, yes, a 50 is plenty big for that breeding to occur. You could even add probably another female if you wanted to. This is a harem breeder. I've heard 1 male and up to 5 females sometimes, and you can get a lot of brooding, a lot of mating going on at once. You'll have a very tired male, but you'll have less tired females, as a female can be pretty worn out by an overly aggressive breeding male. The so that should be plenty. You may want to get an egg tumbler, be an idea, and then get the eggs out of the females, so you have less chance of those fry being eaten. So Zen Ginger, the fish we were talking about, she's making a comment about albino threadfin acaras are beautiful, not huge, but a decent size. One of my favorite fish, Zen Ginger, that I've ever seen. And Denny has a bad experience only because of how much he paid for them. But besides that, I think you loved them. I think they're beautiful fish.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a couple of the acaras in here behind me. And they're starting to get the thread fin. They're starting to get the long flowing fins on the top. And it's just beautiful. And it's red. The thread is red. So it's a very, very pretty fish. So Danny Ken is here. What's up, Danny Ken? Hello to you. And see here. All right.
We need some questions.
Any other questions? Just throw them out there and we'll go ahead and field them in this very unusual midweek live stream. Decided to take advantage of having Denny up here and coerced him into a live stream.
Yeah, less than 24-hour notice.
That's right. Otherwise, he would have wore a shirt and tie. Of course, I'm lying there, right? Okay, Sharpie's model. Look, I know you. All right. All righty. So if Karen's asking about is asking Marcus about a 125. Just as an update, I'm going to be putting out an update very shortly on the 210. The 210 gallon is requiring a tremendous amount of prep work. I've got to cut out the back of the tank with a reciprocating saw to create places for hoses to come out. I'm doing a DIY sump, and I had to have some glass cut to put some baffles in it. And I'm ordering. I've got hundreds of pounds of substrate that I have to wash, put in, and that's the pain in the butt to have to wash substrate, and some of it, especially the crushed coral, you can drain and wash that for hours, and it's still milky. It drives you crazy. But at any rate, I've got a tremendous amount of prep work that I'm doing. I have to stain the stand, probably stain it the same green that's on the 90, but a lot of work. You folks will be the first to know as changes occur, and ultimately as I move all of these fish along with the killer Eureka Red and put them all into the 210. I'm going to have to leave the 210 where it is only because I have so much work to do behind the tank. So I can't put it up against the wall right now because I have to get all the way behind it for cutting the back open. The stand I got from Glass Cages is a closed unit, like a piece of furniture. It has a complete piece of wood in the back that has to be cut open. So I've got a lot of work to do there. So with all that being said, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap up this midweek live stream. I want to thank all of you for showing up. I want to thank my special guest, Denny Ruedel, who has been with me through thick and thin, back in California, through all the mistakes I made in doing live streams where they were upside down and videos that were poorly lit and with bad sound. And he's hung in there. Thank you so much, Denny, for that. And he currently is the main moderator, really, at the Ben O. Cichlid webpage. Be sure to check that out.
Answer the 4 questions.
And
all 4 of them.
That's right.
There's a lot of people. I denied someone yesterday that answered all 4 questions. What they did is, first question asked the kind of fish you keep. The answer was yes. It was like, yes, 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 yes. And then I agree. Yeah, and I declined them.
You can tell when there's someone genuine. The reason that we have questions before you get into the Ben Cichlid page is because of, bots and trolls and people that are not going to really contribute to the group. The group is a very friendly group. It really is helpful, especially if you're a new fish keeper. There's really no stupid question. If somebody jumps on somebody because they think the question is stupid, that conversation is usually moderated very quickly. And the person who is doing the jumping is warned and then removed from the group. So it's a very friendly group, very safe group to go to if you want to learn about fish keeping. There's people there that are salt keepers. There's Malawi. There's Tanganyikan. There's community tanks, all kinds. Even though the name has cichlid in it, there's all types of fish keepers there. So come on by if you can. And
I like to do hangs for Tuesday. Tanganyikans for Tuesday, like people see it.
There you go. Tangs for Tuesday. So you can post your tang. And we have also a monthly a banner contest. And the winner, the one who gets the most likes, gets a gift certificate from our friends over in Dover. Lisa Hober and her family over at Super Cichlids in Dover. So they get a gift certificate. They can use it for food or whatever it is that Lisa is offering. She offers both food and equipment.
Yeah, lots.
Yeah, so great group. So come on by and here, there it is, right in front of Denny. Facebook group, Ben O''Cichlid. You can also get behind the scenes photos and video at ben.o.cichlid on Instagram. If you haven't already, hit that like button, hit the sub, and hit that bell. Tells YouTube something good's going on and encourages YouTube to get us over that 40,000 subscriber number. All right. So that's it from us. Anything else you want to say, Denny, before we go ahead and end off?
It was just really a great time meeting you, Ben, and let's get you over to 50 subs by the end of the year for sure.
50,000, that would be great. 50,000 would be great.
I think that's doable.
Thank you so much for your help, my friend. Thank you to all of you friends out there. You're very appreciated. I'll see you on Saturday for one of our regular live streams. And with that, that's it for now. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Denny. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.